Scandinavian wood carving dates back to the Viking era, from Viking ships to stave churches. Given this long history, what state is Scandinavian carving in for the present and future? Is there any preservation movement at hand in the 21st century? Wood carving as a folk art has its origins in agrarian culture due to a need for tools. As carving became more popular, farmers would often see professionally carved items in their churches. These farmers would model their own carvings in these images. Carver Willy Sundqvist recalls from his own childhood that the carving of a tool like a spoon did not begin as a goal in itself. Carving just happened naturally with conversation. As a result, conversation became more relaxed. The focus on the doing took away the pressure of the talking. Carving was just a way to have fun. The tools originally used to carve, like knives and axes, were clean and quiet. This made conversation easier. Wood is the most common material used because it is readily available. Nearly half of Sweden and a quarter of Norway are covered in forests of pine, spruce, and birch. In Swedish tradition, food utensils are often carved from wood, though other common materials are bone and horn. Food utensils should be made from woods that have certain characteristics. These woods should be strong, hard, even-grained, and non-toxic. Carved bowls were often saved for special occasions like funerals and weddings. Ale bowls were usually carved into the shape of a swan or goose, which would often include a small dipper for the ale. In fact, the drinking vessel is called the ølglass, which means beer goose. Other bowls are formed based on the shape the original piece of wood had. Take, for example, this milk bowl that dates back to the 18th century. This bowl was carved from a knot. This next piece includes a small paddle for squeezing water out of butter. Butter paddles can also be what we would consider today to be a butter knife. When creating a butter paddle, function is the most important element. One should be able to butter bread with the utensil. A finished butter paddle can even have various designs engraved on its surface. Swedish woodcarver Willy Sundqvist provides this encouragement for anyone attempting to carve their own butter paddle. Even if you prefer not to engrave any ornamentation on your butter paddle, I suggest that you sign it by cutting in your initials. Personalizing it in this way is a reward for doing a good job, and it somehow makes your efforts final. Examples of these finishing touches can be seen on pieces from bowls to salt boxes. Perhaps the most iconic image of Swedish wood carving is the spoon. However, a spoon can easily be confused with a ladle. The definition of a ladle in the sense of Scandinavian wood carving is a multi-purpose utensil used to stir and serve food and scrape the bottom of the pot. A spoon that is too big to eat with is also considered a ladle. Spoons and ladles are usually made from a curved or bent crook in a tree to make the shape of the spoon more natural. A ladle often has a hook used for hanging it off the side of a pot. The steps to construct a spoon have generally stayed the same over time, though the tools may have changed. This video from 1923, originally filmed at a handcraft presentation, shows men using traditional tools like axes to carve a spoon. While people these days may use axes or power tools, the steps have generally stayed the same. One roughs the shape of the spoon out of a wood blank, then adds the dimensions to the spoons with smaller hands. Tools. New tools that are used to carve out the shape of a spoon are the bow saw and the band saw. Once the utensil is carved, the carver can put finishing touches on it, literally. The traditional way to finish a utensil is by boiling it in milk. The casein from the milk is absorbed into the wood, which protects the utensil. Other finishes can be vegetable oil, liquid paraffin, and walnut oil. These finishes would not be used on utensils that are actually intended to be used with food. Vegetable and nut oils can go rancid. Raw linseed oil, now known as flaxseed oil, is also used on food utensils because it is transparent and non-toxic. This oil is different from boiled linseed oil, which has toxic chemicals and heavy metals in it. Rags that have been soaked in linseed oil can spontaneously combust and must be disposed of very carefully. Wood carving has been such an important part of Swedish culture that Sundqvist claims that cultural values are at stake due to the decline in the use of the knife, axe, and other hand tools. Wood carving is a form of folk art considered to be hemslöjden, or home craft. These crafts diminished throughout history as machine production increased. In 1912, the National Association of Swedish Handcraft Societies was founded. Additionally, in the present day, Sweden has the Board for Homecraft Issues, which was founded after 1968. The existence of this board proves that even the Swedish government views folk arts and handcrafts as important to society. The Board for Homecraft Issues has consultants in woodwork, metalwork, and textiles. Consultants who work under the board have multifaceted roles. Consultants are expected to teach courses, give lectures, and help people identify quality in handcrafts. They are also expected to further the knowledge of crafts that are typical of the region in which they work. Though carver Willy Sundqvist worries about the future of the art of carving, existence of groups like the Board of Homecraft Issues points to a new generation of people willing to reconnect to their heritage. Only time can tell us who will be right. Perhaps there will be a new movement of people soon who go back to their agrarian roots, back to the ideals of Willy Sundqvist, who want to work with their hands to create something beautiful.